on this computer. So, welcome everybody. This is the debriefing of the activist on the 6th of September. And I have to say I did prepare this meeting a lot because I've been awfully busy with getting the invoices right and so, and working on this decentralized accounting and so. So, I was just talking with Ian about MetaMost versus Discord. And Ian, would you go on with that?
Sure. Sorry for my camera. I'll fix it in a few minutes. I'll have to sign out and back in. But the board has officially, moved to this new platform, Discord, and will soon be opening Discord to general membership. I think it will be maybe $20 US worth of Bitcoin to become an official member and to join the Discord. So as far as the automation and bots, there are many options to do that in Discord, but really I think we're still trying to figure it out and also figure out mechanisms where we can do a little bit of KYC to assure that each member is really just one person in case we do some kind of voting, that we only have one vote per member. So we have a couple obstacles to get through. At the moment, the membership on Discord is just limited to the private sale participants. And they're all going through some KYC where they present some identification and they have a video interview with one of the RChain staff. So we'll have to do something similar, I think, for members, but there will be many, many more members, I think, than participants in this sale.
Hundreds.
Yeah. We might have to outsource some of this identity verification to a third party.
We will see. But meanwhile, I'm going with Jim further investigating about the possibilities of MetaMost. And I'm just doing my first steps in this new world of digital life, and it's amazing what I see. And there's connections all over the place with other tools and so. So maybe Jim, could you tell something about the fact that it's proprietary software?
It's not proprietary, it's open source. We haven't released it yet. Currently, we control the source, and it's open in the sense that if anybody wants to be a member of the repository, they can be. Okay, that's what we mean by open source at this point, until there's some stable release. It's a prototype right now. And the primary author, Joachim, doesn't want to let it out into the wild yet. And there's security considerations and other things that we don't, it's not a product.
So the goal is to make it, when it's a bit more stable, to make it completely open source.
We could run our own instance of it if we want to. But at this point, participating in the trial is the best thing. And we've taken the RChain Mattermost instance and hooked it up to be one of the communities that's participating in the trial. If you look, Kits and I are planning a BYOI, Bring Your Own Identity group that's independent of all the communities that are working on identity right now. There's the CoCloud.coop, which DiviDAO. We have Giveit.io, Internet of People, and some other ones. If you're participating, join the lab conference, and we're paying bounties for roles and facilitators. And that hasn't been figured out exactly what the sponsors are being. We, you know.
So, Jim, I have a question. It looks like that you've managed to hook up GitHub also in the event log, something like that.
Yeah, and that this is okay. This is the trial. Okay, in the RChain co-op, in the event log, we have a GitHub integration. Right now, we're tracking all events, and we may play with some of the environments here. So,
is it possible to interact with these messages?
Well, you know, I mean, if you click on the
then you go to GitHub. Yeah.
The issue. So, you know, the event log is just a way of keeping up with everything happening, and it was intended that the event log would
let's say if you want to check about
other integration as well. I'm sorry?
If you want to chat about issue here, how could you do that?
Oh,
if you understand my question, if you want to,
no, I don't. I mean, you can click to the issue. That's
okay.
all you can do here. Okay, that's as far as we go. I mean, if we wanted, we could add commands, other Git commands in here, which would take you to GitHub to do something. But what we have is the /dig integration. Okay, so in any channel, if you type /dig, we get key links and pointers about the channel. Looking back, I'm having some performance problems sometimes. But where is the? No, it's not here. Sorry.
Okay, but it is just an example of MetaMost, and it's worthwhile to experiment with it and see how far we can go with it.
Yeah.
So for the moment, I would like to close that subject. Jim, is it okay with you? And ask the others if they have important stuff to tell. Like Patrick, what are you up to?
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I'll start out with some updates. So obviously, social media stuff, newsletter went out. I've gotten to take a little step back from private sales stuff because Steve and Greg are taking care of it now. So one thing I'm working on this morning and yesterday was the formations of the marketing budget that Lawrence initiated, and I think Ed's also working on it too, as well as Nathan. So yeah, I've just laid out essentially all the campaigns, goals, overviews, some example personas that I'm gonna have to work in depth, and then we're gonna set that against the editorial calendar that Lawrence has created. And then along with that budget, I'll be able to hopefully do another spreadsheet like you had done for the community tasks, so that we can open source these marketing initiatives. But we want clear, defined strategies and performance metrics that we can measure against as we lead up to. There's a few key milestones. There's the public opening for the co-op membership. Because right now it's going through the private sale, and the way BitPay is set up, that it's best to not it's best to wait until after the private sale to fully announce and open up membership in a way that is just broad, even though anybody can do that right now. And then the major, there's going to be compiler complete release, node complete, and then Mercury release. And then what accompanies Mercury is the Rev ICO and the Rock to Rev redemption. Well, definitely the Rock to Rev redemption, and most likely the Rev ICO. So these are some milestones, and we have to begin to develop content marketing strategies, which is something I think the community is going to do great with, as well as we're setting a budget, hopefully, for some paid advertising, and a couple other things like I spoke about last meetup with, or last hangout about the meetup packages. We really want to get regional presence and these educational funnels to start getting, local groups learning and using and building on or with the RChain platform. So that's like the main thing that I've been doing. I might go dark for a couple days because there's a giant hurricane coming. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, that's another thing I have to pay attention to. And sorry for the music. I'm at Station House. Ian knows it's a co-work space.
Yeah, it's a lively environment. It's great. So nice. Thanks for your update. Who wants to take the floor?
I'll chime in. So I'm kind of last month started sending out some emails to academics and CCing Nash, Ed, Greg, and Brandon, who works with Ed now, who on I think some developer relations. I've kind of put the list of people I've emailed and a sample email in a Google G Sheet, and I would encourage us to kind of be open about who we're reaching out to, so we don't reach out to the same people. I'm sure everyone has a rich network. I think Jim mentioned, obviously his career is illustrious, so he knows a lot of people. Me, I've taken just a, reach out to academic approach. And it was, I guess, not super successful, but we had one good hit, I think, which I explained in issue 91. Thanks for setting that up, HJ. He's a Stanford professor, and Nash and I had a call last week or 2 weeks ago. So I think I would like to continue a little bit on the developer front and also on business development. And I think included in the business development would be a presence at conferences. I'm interested in the community feedback on whether that would be helpful or not. I know Greg last week on the debrief kind of mentioned, he's not sure what his conference strategy is this year, and hopefully next year people come to the RChain conference. I love it. But I think maybe we should be a little bit more organized in listing the events that are taking place, and they might not be major conferences. Maybe we could put all the meetups happening around the country regarding RChain there as well, so we're keeping track of it. So it's all in the G Sheet, issue 91. I put it there, I think. And interested in community input on this strategy. And that's basically it.
Great. So please try to be as explicit as possible in your issue description and so. And you have to drive a lot of things on your own. So yeah, it's great. And
yeah, also to that point, I think that there is a meetup calendar being created somewhere, and I remember Kevin putting a lot of the New York ones into it. Yeah, so if we could consolidate all those materials into one document and one issue, that would be great. One thing that concerns me about representing RChain at conferences. First of all, you can informally do whatever you want, but if you're going on behalf as a representative of RChain, then you're going to be expected to be able to answer the questions that right now only a very few developers are able to answer. Like what's going to differentiate at a granular level. Let's say you're talking to, I don't know, give anybody an example, like a Bitcoin developer, and they're like, okay, explain to me the minute details of this mechanism or that mechanism. So to the general point, I think developer outreach is important, and the developer education is ultra important. And from that, we're going to get developer ready type of knowledge and people that are able to present this information to the developer community. If you think that you can distill mobile process calculate to, a developer with 30 plus years of experience, then please try and let me know how that goes. But that's what I'm most concerned about representing RChain at these conferences, is that you don't want to get stuck not knowing enough about RChain.
That's a great point. And honestly, I wasn't thinking as much about setting up a booth, but I guess that would be critical. But as much as having a ground presence, maybe like a marketing sheet that we could plan in advance to, I don't know, I guess we would have a booth. I guess you're right. And it's always an issue with relationship people and more business-sided people. Can they speak to the tech? There's always a limit to how far they could take the conversation, and where you want to, when someone is so knowledgeable, like for example, on the call with David and Nash, even Nash felt at some points that he was reaching his limit. And that's why at the end of the conversation, he wanted to introduce David to Mike and Greg, because the conversation was going well. I think it's a healthy concern, Patrick, but I mean, I'm up to the challenge. Of course, I won't answer questions I can't understand. Obviously, there will be people who could do it better than myself, but I mean, it's a great point. I don't think it should limit us in trying to, build support. And there are a lot of people who get it on the level that we already get it. I mean, we're here for a reason. We understand it to a level, definitely the conceptual level of concurrency and compositionality. I think that itself is pretty powerful.
Yeah, exactly. But also, none of us are building applications yet on it. So there's important things like we want to limit we want Greg and the core developer team to focus on delivering the platform. Once the platform gets delivered, there's going to be case studies published about what it can and can't do. And that's essentially what will drive, is the demonstration of the code is what's going to drive the general audience to recognize the RChain's differences. But I like definitely networking, of course, but if the whole funnel is to make it so Greg has to have more conversations, that might not be as effective as delivering the code, publishing a case study, and promoting the case study.
I suggest that this David comes into the RChain community.
We should all get to the point where each of us can deliver a 10 or 15 minute slideshow, attend something like the local Bitcoin or Ethereum meetup and just give an introduction to RChain, get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I like that idea. Yes. So what we were talking about in this context was like attending conferences and essentially being an ambassador of the RChain. I prefer the meetup version where we have these package of materials, we have a pitch deck, and we're engaging and getting these people in our cycles, essentially. I don't want to call them sales cycles, but the retention, get them in the Slack, get them in the Hangouts, and get those cycles going so that just like us, in time, they'll as a activist and as a member, they'll understand. But the outreach to get like major deals and partnerships and things like that, that needs to be sequenced closer to when the platform is ready to deliver. And then the developer education that goes with that is first and foremost most important.
Yeah, so far, I haven't found the mathematical programmers I know willing to accept anything besides what they're doing now. That's a little difficult, but I think that, you know, for team building, I think the Mattermost trial can be a great thing and can make use of skills of people. And as things are released publicly in GitHub, people who can start to be involved without really involving anyone outside of the activist community. And in Mattermost, Patrick created a content channel as an experiment, and that lasted for about 3 days and hasn't been very active since. But we don't have an admin for the channel yet. We try to get an admin and a lead before we have an official circle. And then the activities that were added so far is newsletter, drafting, and the dictionary. If we click on the eyes, we get this zooms in. I didn't want to do it because I was having some performance issues before. We see that Kit Blake has committed to that. We have another activity over here, the RChain dictionary, which nobody committed to. And this is all in the content channel, which is within RChain, which has an identity circle and has a work study on Saturday for identity. The new channel and other channels haven't been added yet. We need people to come in here and type /dig activity or action and put in something activity we're doing and commit time to it. And of course, this exists within the context of other communities that are participating in the trial.
Hey, Jim, you're not sharing.
Oh, geez. That was a waste of time. That was a waste of time. Sorry about that. Damn.
But
so
okay.
in the content channel in Mattermost, in the RChain co-op instance of Mattermost, the content discussion has dig/members, and you can be on the team by typing /dig member and your username. You can type /dig space help if you want to know what all the commands are. If you click on the eyes over here, you get this diagram, and it automatically zooms in to RChain and the content channel and the activities in there, which can be committed to by clicking one of these happy faces from the least effort to the most effort that you plan to put into it, or that you commit to put into it. And you can change these at any time. If you click on, and I can't see the whole thing here. Whoops. Where am I? you click on the eyes, okay, you'll get a network graph of what activities connect what people. And in this case, we're getting the whole, all of the people in the trial. And it looks like I'm having a performance problem here, and I don't know why. This, shows how people are connected that by being in the same activities together around the collective. If people can come in here, add activities, add channels, or what their interest is, assume a lead or an admin role, add activities, or you just add activities. Another activity for content may be I don't know, website. And we can put links in here using Markdown anywhere in Mattermost, which is very nice. And I have some diagnostics to do. And now I have the website activity and the content channel, and I can see that my current level of commitment is sleeping for all of these. I have no commitment, but I can put some a little bit of commitment into the dictionary, and this again will zoom in to the newsletter, and it'll show me. It was just taking a while. There we go. So now somebody's committed to the dictionary. So I encourage everyone to participate, and people that help facilitate will get bounties from DiviDAO, as well as there may be certain tasks, RChain associated tasks that involve using Mattermost and the social ledger. I can show you more. There's a dashboard with tiles for the activities that you can browse, and the goals of a channel / dig goals, specify goals, the norms / dig norms. You can do / dig contract and have a contract that people sign with each other.
Maybe it's good when there's a bit more content to come back to it. And then we can really show what the power is of Mattermost.
So for activities where you're having a channel in Mattermost and a discussion, you can add the activity and you can link it to the GitHub issue. And it just shows very clearly what the main things that are being worked on by the members of the team.
Okay.
Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to help team formation. We're trying to foster more working together rather than working separately.
Yeah, very important. So I would like to share my screen also to get some attention for the how you call it, for the decentralized budget allocation and spending. to my experience, the Google Sheet has become very complicated, and it can be very soon demolished if the wrong edits are done. So I've created a simple form to express to create a new issue or to do an estimate for the work you have done. So if you say this, for example, then you can say your GitHub ID, you can express a number, and then you say, for example, 45%. And this has to be figured out, but you could appoint 32 peers, but I don't know how to do it yet. And then you can say some things that you've done. And you just say, and submit. Oh, fill out just a number, okay. So then this comes, the answer comes in a spreadsheet, and maybe you can open it. And then I will process it into the sheet. So it's the form responses probably, yeah. And this is my entry then. And I will add it to the sheet. So the system is evolving, but please fill out this form if you have done something. That's my, and I will create another sheet that's publicly available. This because the sensitive personal information must not become public, and that's why I will create a web version. So, who else wants to come on the floor? Please.
Give me a second and I'll share my screen.
Wonderful. I like this screen sharing.
And okay, you know, I like Bob, but this is an issue that we're getting rolling, this RChain dictionary, which was suggested by Patrick, and I'm happy to see people seem to be excited about it, especially this guy here who is also into bots, because I think the dictionary, it could easily become a bot as well in one or another medium or channel. That's actually the intention. So I set up this basic doc in Markdown, and there's a bit of syntax where these are actually headings, and in GitHub, when you make a heading, it is URL linkable. So if I copy this link, and I won't actually go there, but I'll paste it in my location bar, then this is the link to this particular definition, which means that it's URL addressable from any other document. And also because of the syntax, this would be parsable. So if we use this as a flat file for a bot or something, then if somebody typed in reflection, then we would search for an H4 of with the word reflection, and then take the paragraph after it and return that as a definition. So it's very preliminary, and Well, people who know me know that I'm not a techie, and so there's a lot of stuff in here that I won't be able to fill in, or I'll cut and paste it from some external source. But as Gary said in the issue, it would be really nice if this was all RChain content in the context of itself, as opposed to cut and pastes and attribution to Wikipedia or something. So this is in the members directory, which means all of us should be able to edit. So if anybody wants to jump in and change stuff, like Gary, you mentioned different section divisions, then go right ahead. That's the update on the new project. The other project, I don't have anything new to show, but that's the welcome bot, and we could install that in Slack if Ian or somebody else is up for it, but this last week did not seem like the right week to suggest such a thing. So I let it ride, and if there's a little space, maybe we can slot it in somewhere. And then, yeah, the last thing, while I have the mic, the discussion about the issue with Jacob and Patrick and the promotion of RChain, there's 2 points that I want to hit. One of them is that we really need junior developers. We've got a situation where we have lots of seniors who want to do senior stuff, and there are some people, you know, like Jacob and me, who you could call drivers, but junior developers, there aren't any. And so if we can try and get more juniors involved in it, then there's a bunch of projects that could really take off, but they're waiting on developer talent. And the second point, if you didn't see the chat, we're talking about trying to get a generic presentation together, a slideshow that could be used at meetups and other situations. And I think that's a great idea, and people have already started to offer to collaborate on it. So let's go for it. We should make a bounty and a budget, I think. That's it for me.
Another place where the dictionary might be implemented is on the membership Discord. I tried playing around with building a couple of simple bots in Python, but you can also do it in JavaScript. And it's really pretty easy, especially for something like a dictionary. But what would be perfect is if the dictionary existed on GitHub, and then the bot could reach in and pick up whatever's in the GitHub as being the official place. So exactly. That might be a little beyond my playing around so far.
Sounds good. And that idea of the bot picking up the content, I don't know, on a nightly basis or something with a cron job from GitHub, that's exactly what we want, I think.
Right. It can be platform agnostic, but that will be the main source.
That's exactly what we should do, because it's going to be a while that we have these multiple channel mediums. So platform agnostic is the way to go. Yeah.
Are all very similar APIs. I haven't figured out how to do a / command in Discord yet.
Oh, well, when you create a bot user, you just assign, like, usually you'll do like an exclamation point, like a bang, and then your bot will respond to anything after the character that you assign for the bot to listen to.
Cool. The other side of things is when you get a result back from a bot, it has Slack or Mattermost style formatting, and which is JSON, I guess it's the same. You have to pick out fields from the JSON to display in the Mattermost in the Discord manner, or whatever environment. You know, what we have today is Mattermost, so we can put the integrations there freely. We can't do that with Slack. Show up for the new class and make your first user agent for yourself.
Wonderful, wonderful. Gary or Kevin, do you want to say something also?
I didn't have any updates this week. It was sort of underwater here. Sorry. So, but I noticed that you assigned a few tasks to me, and I'll get back to you today and this evening.
Okay. Maybe then Gary.
Yes, I don't have any major updates. I'm still working towards the video production cooperative on the Divi Mattermost, which is what I'll roll the transcript production from the chats or from the video chats. I'll just roll that all into one video production thing, and I think I'm going to host that over on the Divi DAO Mattermost, and I can put links from all the associated channels that might be pointing to that, so people can find it if they want to help out with this.
Yeah, I think in the Divi Mattermost, you may be able to draw up people from more communities to help with the video production.
Yes, and I see this as sort of, even though we'll be using it here for RChain, for our own needs, it's going to have an appeal to anybody who does this, has these meetings on Zoom and then records them and then upload them to YouTube. They need translations and subtitles and translations of the subtitles and transcripts and summaries and all these things. And what we could just set up a checklist for all the things that a group might want, and then we can come up with some sort of estimation as how much of the effort of the cooperative will have to be spent to produce each of the components that the ultimate community needs.
Set up some activities on Divi together. I mean, what you're describing sounds perfect to me.
That's great. Yes, I intend to do that. I'm sort of circling all the different platforms that we're setting up, and I realize now there's going to be a lot of different platforms, and the ones that survive will be the ones that are the most useful to us. So yeah, this is all good.
So we're having a multiple community effort on identity, and now with the video production as well. It's cool.
Okay, Monchilov, do you want to say something? And then finally, we have Mike Stay. Maybe you can come up with some development news.
Well, there's the Dev Hangout that people are welcome to look at. We have the Jira account set up now. We started a sprint on Tuesday. We have specific tasks that everyone's working on. Beyond that, there's not much to say other than we're making progress.
So it's good to see you at the activist meetings. Mike, do you have inputs for us and where direction in terms of how you think we can be of the best assistance to, to staying out of the development team's way?
Well, there are meetings, for example, the Casper stand-up meetings, that are publicly available but are not transcribed. And it would be helpful to me, I think, if people would go back and transcribe all of those, or even better, summarize them and get the content from those meetings into a wiki.
Your wishes are command.
So that would be something that I think, the transcription certainly, but more the summarizing and wikifying of these meetings, so that the content becomes searchable and consumable by interested parties who haven't been around for the entire history of those endeavors. That's all from me.
There was some commentary in the chat about member registration onto the Discord, and at the moment the Discord, they have it set up for the sale participants, and they're all going through some video interview and some KYC, but pretty soon
that's not necessary to get onto the Discord. You just go through the membership process it's a prerequisite to be part of the private sale that you be a member. And so the easiest way to go through the membership stuff is just by clicking on going to presale.rchain.coop. But you don't have to be a participant in the pre-sale to become a member.
I understand, but we're not adding, after paying the 20 BTC, we still have to go through some kind of interview or KYC to make someone a member and to give them that member role. There's still some kinks in the invitation process that have to be worked out so that we make sure that, that every member is just one person and only has one alias on the platform.
We may not, we may need to find out if Greg and Ed want us to join. I mean, I joined because I wanted to get into Discord, but I think that may not, the suggestion is that the intention is to restrict it to participants in the sale until the end of the sale.
I see. So the only reason I'm on there is because I'm a developer, and there's a private developer channel, and they're trying to get off of Slack. So
right.
if you're...
Yeah, it's not open for general membership yet. I mean, technically, you could get onto the platform, but you won't be given the member role until there's some verification that's done. And we will improve the process, hopefully very quickly, so that we can onboard many more members.
That's great. Let's see, there was a question. Oh, yeah. How soon is Slack going away? Will it ever go away entirely?
I don't think it should go away entirely, but as the community grows, if we have a bigger problem with trolls, what we can do and what other communities have done is to just further lock down Slack so that it's basically just one channel where announcements are posted, and try to direct the participants onto one of the other forums, whether it's going to be the Discord or perhaps the Mattermost or whatever. But Slack needn't go away, but we can further lock it down to discourage the trolls.
Okay. Every time we switch platforms for the developers, that costs, thousands of dollars in charged time to us. So, we had the developer channel on Slack. We're moving to Discord. Can we please keep it there and not switch it over to some other platform before we get this done?
I'm with you, and perhaps we can grab the whole history from your development channel and see if we can. Maybe there's a way to import it into Discord or wherever. So I'll look into that.
Okay, are there urgent matters to talk about? Because we are heading towards the time that Greg does his debriefing. Then for urgent matters, the floor is open.
I think we need an environment that people who are not members can at least talk to the activists or whatever, and whether that's Slack or Mattermost, or maybe we can do it with Discord. Ultimately, I don't know if there's a way that we can open the channel for to test integrations or other things. Yeah, I have to learn about Discord, honestly.
Yeah, it seems the killer feature on Discord is that it allows for various roles, and depending on your role, you can belong to particular channels.
Nice.
Oh, okay, we hear more about it in the next week, maybe. Okay, let's call it a day, and we go to the next meeting. Thanks for your assistance. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you guys.